Have you ever noticed how some people light up when their doorbell rings, while others feel a knot tighten in their stomach? There's something strange about this divide. Two people, equally kind, equally social, equally capable of connection. But one sees their home as a stage meant for sharing, while the other sees it as a fortress that shouldn't be breached. Why do some people genuinely hate having guests over, even people they love, even people they'd gladly meet anywhere else in the world, just not here, not in this space? If that's you, if you've ever felt your chest tighten when someone says, "I'm nearby, can I stop by?" then keep watching. What you're experiencing isn't rudeness. It isn't coldness. It's something far more interesting. Let's start here. Your home is not just a place. It's a psychological ecosystem you've carefully built over time. Every object has its place. Every routine has its rhythm. The way the light hits the wall at 3 p.m., the silence that greets you when you walk through the door. The fact that you can exist here without explanation, without performance, without the constant, exhausting work of being perceived, and then someone knocks. Suddenly, you're aware of the dishes in the sink, the unmade bed, the book left open on the couch. It's not because these things are wrong, but because now they're visible to someone else's eyes. Now, they require context, defense, management. But here's the thing. It's not really about the mess. Psychologists have a term for what you're protecting: territorial comfort. Your home isn't just your space. It's your nervous system's safe zone. It's where your brain finally exhales. Research in environmental psychology shows that people with high needs for cognitive restoration, those who process the world deeply and feel things intensely, require physical spaces where they can decompress without social demands. For you, home is where the mask comes off, where you stop translating your thoughts into socially acceptable language, where you can be weird, quiet, half-dressed, fully yourself. And when someone enters, even someone you adore, the mask goes back on. You're suddenly the host, the entertainer, the person who needs to make sure everyone's comfortable, engaged, happy. And that role, no matter how much you love the person playing guest, costs you energy you don't always have to give. And this is where it gets complex. Because you're not antisocial. You probably have friends you'd do anything for. You show up to their events, you listen to their problems, you care deeply about the people in your life. But there's a difference between choosing when and where to be social and having social demands enter the one place where you resuppose to be off duty. It's like being a teacher who loves their students but doesn't want them showing up at their house on Saturday morning. The relationship is real. The boundary is real too. Both can be true. Psychologists who study introversion and highly sensitive people have found something fascinating. These individuals don't necessarily need less social connection. They need more control over when and how that connection happens. Their nervous systems are wired to pick up on subtleties, the shift in someone's tone, the unspoken tension in a room, the effort required to smooth over an awkward silence. In public spaces, you can manage this. You can leave when you're drained. But in your home, you're trapped. You're responsible for the atmosphere until that person decides to leave. And that uncertainty, that lack of control over your own energy timeline, it's exhausting before the visit even begins. Here's what's really happening on a deeper level. For some people, home is where they do what attachment researchers call self-soothing. You're not just relaxing, you're actively regulating your nervous system through familiar rituals. The way you make your tea, the playlist you put on, the corner of the couch where you always sit. These aren't random preferences, they're psychological anchors. When a guest arrives, those anchors get disrupted. You can't fully sink into your routine because you're monitoring someone else's experience. Are they bored? Do they need something? Should you make conversation? Or is the silence getting weird? And maybe this sensitivity goes back further than you realize. Maybe you grew up in a house where guests meant stress, where your parents scrambled to clean, where children were told to behave differently, speak quieter, be more impressive, where visitors weren't just people, they were performances to execute. Or so now, decades later, even when you're the adult, even when it's your space, even when the guest is just a friend, your body remembers, tenses. It prepares for the performance it learned to give. But the truth is, there's another layer here that most people don't talk about. Some people who hate having guests over aren't just protecting their energy. They're protecting their identity. Because home is the one place where you get to be the unedited version of yourself. The version that doesn't have to be funny, productive, interesting, or on. Out there in the world, you're crafting a persona. Not a fake one, necessarily, but a curated one. You're choosing what to share, what to hide, how to present, but at home. You're just existing, raw, real, unperformed. And when someone enters that space, even someone safe, you feel exposed. Like they're seeing behind the curtain of the person you work so hard to be in public. Your home holds evidence of who you are when no one's watching. Your hobbies you haven't mentioned, your habits you haven't explained, the fact that you talk to your plants or watch the same comfort show for the 100th time, or spend entire Sundays doing absolutely nothing. That vulnerability, that unguarded self, it's precious. Some part of you knows that once someone sees it, the relationship changes. They know you differently now. You can never quite get back that privacy. Psychologists who study personal space and privacy have found that people with strong internal worlds often have stronger territorial boundaries, not because they're cold, but because they're protecting something fragile. Their inner life is rich and complex, and it needs space to exist without interference. Think of it like this. Some people's minds are like open gardens, meant to be shared and walked through. But yours? Yours is more like a greenhouse. It's carefully controlled temperature, specific conditions, beautiful and alive, but only when protected from outside elements. And maybe that's the real revelation here. You're not broken for wanting to keep your home to yourself. You're not selfish for preferring to meet friends in neutral spaces. You're not cold for feeling relieved when someone finally leaves, even if you enjoyed their company. You're just someone who understands that peace isn't something you can manufacture anywhere. Peace has specific requirements: solitude, predictability, the absence of social obligation. And you've built a life that honors that truth. Here's something most people never admit out loud. The warmest, most caring, most generous people are often the ones who feel the most relief when the door closes behind a guest. Not because they didn't enjoy the visit, but because silence feels like oxygen after holding your breath. And if you're nodding right now, if you're feeling seen for the first time in a long time, I want you to know something. There is nothing wrong with you. You can love people deeply and still crave solitude. You can be a good friend and still guard your space. You can be kind and generous and emotionally available and still need your home to be a place where no one asks anything of you. Because for some people, the truest form of rest isn't sleep. It's the absence of social performance. It's a quiet room, familiar chair, a cup of tea cooling in your hands, and the gentle, sacred hum of your own thoughts, finally allowed to wander where they want to go. So if you're someone who hates having guests over, maybe it's time to stop apologizing for it. Maybe it's time to recognize that what you're protecting isn't isolation, it's integrity. The integrity of a self that needs space to exist fully. Your home is your sanctuary. And sanctuaries aren't meant for crowds. They're meant for the kind of peace that only comes when you're finally, blessedly, completely alone. If this resonated with you, leave a comment. Tell me your experience. Are you like this too? And if you want more videos that explain the quiet, complex truths of being human, subscribe. Explore the psychology behind everyday experiences, and I think you'll find a home here. See you in the next one.